We have a great show for you today. We've got Joel David Weir on Zoom and returning to the show to talk about his new EP, My Quarantina. It's a good record. I really like it, and you're going to like it too. We're going to play little parts of it, and we're going to talk to Joel right here in a few minutes. But first, it's time, once again, for the Moonshine Guru. And today, he has some really lame DIY tips.
Hey Moonshine music fans, got the Moonshine Guru back here with you, and I've been doing a lot of work on my house, and I thought I'd give you guys some DIY tips so you don't run into some of the troubles that I have. So here we go. Plans can be overrated and confusing. Just do what you need to do. Like, you don't have to plan everything all out. Like, that just wastes time. Like, don't be afraid to wing it. You know, just go do it. And improvising is encouraged. It's all part of the fun and the magic that is home improvement. Don't forget to wear your appropriate safety equipment. It's all about safety. Personally, I wear naked so my clothes and things won't get in the way. And if for some reason I have somebody over helping me, I wear some socks, you know, just for decency. Also, stick to one project at a time. Why? Like, if you see something that needs done, just go start doing that. And then if you stop paying attention and something else catches your eye, go do that. It all needs done anyway, just do it. Don't worry about finishing things either. You know, it's about the journey, not the destination. Also, it's good to test things out. You know, poke holes to your walls and your floors. Just make sure that everything's going to the right place. You know, you have that barrier there. There might be something that's kind of weird in between. You know, test it out. Go ahead and leave stuff exposed. That way, like, it'll be there to remind you, hey, think about how to fix this thing. You know, you'll get to it eventually. It's not that big a deal. Here are some examples of that with some various electrical outlets. And also, don't worry about turning off all the breakers, whatever, especially if they're not on the same floor that you're working on. That's a lot of back and forth, and it just wasted energy. You know, just do what you got to do, and if you get shocked a little bit, it's not that bad. You know, some doctors use that as treatment for certain conditions.
This is Moonshine and Music with Joe Shelton. Wait a minute, that's me. Anyway, we're going to bring you some inspiring songwriters, musicians, and maybe some side challenges and other stuff around the music industry. So stick with us right now, because the show is coming your way. Woo! Moonshine and Music starts right now. Welcome to Moonshine and Music. We're here today with Joel David Weir. He's returning to the show. He's going to talk today about his brand new EP. Is it an EP or an LP?
An EP.
EP, My Quarantina. It's called. So welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Back.
Good to be here. Great to be here. Great to be back.
A little remotely this time instead of in person.
Of course, as is everything.
Almost everything is remote these days. It's we're practicing social extreme distancing.
Yes.
So, I think that that is definitely on topic of what the new record touch on quite a bit. So, I mean, do you want to kind of talk for a minute about the what you're feeling, what's going on here in this COVID world?
Sure. Well, yeah, I mean, the record was, first of all, I was supposed to be in Europe this summer. My wife and I were going to we were going to go on retreat, but I was planning on playing some shows while I was over there. First time to be there, and of course COVID happened. And then as we were sitting around, I mean, that was of course a bummer to not be there. But my drummer Matt, he texts me and he says, "Hey man, I'm bored. I don't have gigs to do," because he also runs sound for a lot of people. And he said, do you have any songs you need drums on? Let's just do it remotely. Let's try. We've never done a record like that before. So I'm like, well, I can maybe think of some songs that are, that could work that we've never done and that we never recorded before. And from there, we started writing and we had a great time. I sent some tracks over to Matt. He made them real pro on his, in his studio. And then sent over to Paul to do bass, and then I got to play around a lot more with the sounds on the recording from home. A lot of time on my hand, to kind of decide like, oh, let's see what that would sound like. And so that's how the album came about. So
that's pretty cool. Do you feel like the experience between doing an in studio thing and this, which was smoother? What's the the verses?
I'll tell you what. Yeah, I mean it's a different beast, but I feel like I do my best writing and recording when I'm just sitting in my room and I can just try the take over and over again and see what. And sometimes when I'm in the studio, I have to adjust more to just like getting the feeling comfortable. And so in some ways, I was really enlivened by the process this time around. By doing it remotely, it was exciting. It was exciting to get some tracks back from Matt to see what he had done to it, and then see what Paul did. And it was like, oh, that's so cool. I didn't think of it that way. So it was I don't know. It was a different experience for sure. I liked it.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't done it myself, like completely remotely like that. Although, before this quarantine happened, my last record last year, I mean, we would send tracks back and forth to practice what we were going to do.
Yeah.
Together and do it,
Sure.
but not actually go, hey, this is the track here. Add that to the, add that to the rest,
Yeah, well, and honestly, like at the beginning, I didn't know that this would even turn into an official record. It was kind of like it was something for us to do creatively. It was to be doing music with the extra time we had at home, and but I ended up just like I loved it, and I ended up kind of playing with influences that I usually hadn't gone with before, and that so there was some sort of freedom that kind of came out of it.
So I noticed that the second track on your record is called Gaslighter, and you were overshadowed greatly by the Chicks.
I know, right?
Releasing
their new album after however many they're long anticipated.
They haven't put out an album in like a decade or more, and they drop it with the title and the title's track the same as. I mean, your version of Gaslighter and theirs resemble each other only in title.
Exactly.
But
I didn't really have them in mind when I was writing it. It's okay though. Like, hey, maybe I'll get some extra traffic. Maybe some people will accidentally,
yeah, they'll accidentally come across it.
It's all under control.
you know, I think the SEO for you is going to be a struggle. Like,
yeah.
on that one. I mean, you know, it happens once in a while, right?
Indeed, it does.
But no, I thought that was pretty cool, and I actually like that track on your record.
Thank you.
I mean, I like the track on their record too. So
yeah, I like it too. Yeah.
An entirely different vibe, but you know, I guess it's an interesting group of songs and the topics that you're tackling. The one that I was stricken by in our political world is guns and religion.
Yeah.
And I mean, we all know that, you know, Obama kind of said his thing about guns and religion.
Right.
And then, you know, I mean, that hasn't changed. It's part of the vernacular. It's part of why everybody, it's so adversarial. Like those are the things that really splintered the parties, and they're the thing that is underlying all the other, you know, issues. The guns, religion, and I would say the third is racism, right?
Yep.
And so, you know, talk a little bit about writing that song and what you were feeling, and I think that'd be interesting.
Okay, well, yeah, it's actually, that is an old song. It's one I wrote. I can't even remember when I wrote it, but I've still played it live occasionally, and it's one that I felt like, you know, it really needed the band behind it, just because it's kind of a rock song and everything. But it was anytime I think that there's something that really bothers me when the mixture of the sort of God and guns thing that doesn't make any sense to me, and I think it ends up being used for very destructive things, whether it's in history, whether it's been, you know, wars in the name of God, or you know, nowadays I think there's, you know, this idea of connecting, you know, God with I don't know, like taking life, you know, of someone, and that's and how it's used as a political tool on, you know, on both sides and everything, on whatever side of it, to divide people. And I mean, the song is kind of it's kind of a satire piece, in that it sounds like this swaggery rock song, you know, like, but it's you know, I almost imagine in a music video of you know, playing a show with a big, you know, "Don't Tread on Me" flag behind me, or something like that, you know, like kind of overdoing it on like the swagger around kind of guns and religion. But I don't know. I mean, that's really where the song came from. And the chorus, you know, is, you know, "Come on, baby, I feel inspired to beat these plowshares into swords, and take it out on the least of these in this holy war." And it's often the least of these that lose in these wars we battle over these things. You know, it's the poor. They're the ones who suffer the most. And so, yeah.
Guns and religion mixed like water and oil. Break sacred
I think the folks that lose the most are the people with the least to lose.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and that's a
Yeah.
yeah, that's just a universal truth of the of the world history. You know, in history, the way that I think the Western world of the 21st century formed, and became a lot more of a place where things were more equal, has been what's been threatening the power structure of the planet.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that it's a really tough road to keep fighting. You know, World War II caused a lot more equality in the world,
Yeah.
even though some of it was hard fought and slow after it. You know,
Yeah.
the civil rights movement and all those things.
Right.
And now those things are trying to be slowly snagged back and
Yeah.
sometimes jerked back.
I know. I know.
And they even, you know, some of them are even out front with it. They put red hats on with slogans on it that
Yeah. Yeah.
that talk about going backwards, right?
Talk about going backwards, and I know.
You know, and so it's a tough thing. I really like the topic. I love it when an artist puts some things out there and some thoughts for the world, and not just a side. You know, like a more, you know, it's not a to me. I thought that song didn't really take a side. It was more of on the side of humans, and not the sides of
Hopefully, I hope
this
that's what comes
particular
across.
issue. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's what I think we should all strive for, is to talk more and be on the side of humans. You know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I like that. I dug that vibe in it. I hope that's, you know, what I got out of it is what you were
Yeah.
trying.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so I like that. I think the record has you know, the right vibe for this time for sure. I mean, I feel like I could just get absorbed in it, and I could also cry in the corner a little bit if I needed to.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, but you know, we come around to the last track, and I'm just like, man, like,
Yeah. Well,
it's so
when
heavy. Like,
yeah,
it's not
when
a
I
heavy
was
record.
writing it though, so the thing is I mean, it's much more of a pop rock kind of record than I've ever made. You know, my usual default has always been sad bastard music, you know, or you know, like a indie alt country kind of thing, and when I was writing this, I mean, definitely during this whole pandemic thing, it would be really easy to go super like introspective, you know,
Yeah.
like
Well, no, I
even,
just thought you
even
were
Taylor Swift did that, right? So and so
exactly
and
really introspective, honestly. Yeah. But no, what I thought about it was so heavy because, like,
oh
your record is so heavy because it's not just delving into that. That's the thing that really took me about it. You know, it
okay
isn't like wallowing in it at all, but it
yeah
totally is there. You know,
yeah
and it can't be taken back. You know, and it doesn't matter what, you know, what happens. And that's the vibe I got off of it. I was like,
oh
man, in
thanks
this time, like I take that and I hear it and I'm like, yeah, if I had heard that before the quarantine, it wouldn't have been anything like that heavy to me, you know.
oh yeah
But in you know, perspective after it, that's where I got it. You know, if you
yeah
had gone like really sad with it, it would have been way too much. You know.
I honestly that's kind of where I was going. Is I had to imagine. What I did was I tried to put myself in the mindset of what is it going to be like when we finally can play live in front of people. Like, and I know there are some venues that are doing it safely now, and I love seeing that and everything. And so
Or trying to. Yeah.
trying to like, and like I said, when we really are back, not fake like America's bored with COVID. So, but like
Right.
when we really can get together again, I just kept imagining like I know I'm not going to want to just sit there and pluck a guitar and sing sad bastard songs. I'm going to want to rock. And, you know, and I thought, yeah, totally. So I'm breaking out my, you know, all my Devo records and my, you know, and I'm getting into, although I'm really loving I love like Sturgill Simpson's last, I love Sound and Fury, how it's just this ridiculous rock record, you know, almost a disco record. that you didn't expect. And then I was just getting into Talking Head, like listening to Talking Heads and stuff, and even like a little Ramones of just like a good 3-minute punk pop song, that gets people going. And
Man, I was, last week we put out one of the Moonshine Circle shows from the summer before,
cool.
and it had Tori Fischetti in there playing, basically all rock songs. I don't know if you've ever seen Tori.
No.
He's on that episode, and
Okay.
I mean, he's playing these pop punk songs that's what he does, and they're all just acoustic. And,
Yeah.
And it's like you listen to that, and I'm like, that's what we need. We need more of that in the world.
I know. I agree. That's where I'm at. And it was the kind of songs I needed to write, and it's what came out. But yeah, I mean, I like what you said about there's still heaviness, because it's like,
yeah, I mean, like the lyrics are there. They're just so heavy, but they're not treated like, like they. I love that, because I can feel the weight of all of it, and it brings it forward, and I think that's a good thing. I think that's what you did really well on the record, and even if it wasn't intentional, it was there.
Well, that's the best kind of. That's the best kind of record. If it came through, if it came through anyway, then that's,
yeah, I mean, it's
out of the way.
I love the record. I when you sent me, I got a copy a little while ago.
Yeah.
And I listened to it, and I'm like, this is really good. This is a good pick me up. It's nice to get some new music. I feel like I was actually glad when some of the bigger artists started putting things out.
Oh yeah.
It's almost like permission for everyone else to release their stuff too.
Yeah.
Because everybody was holding on to things, and so if Taylor Swift or Beyonce or whoever can drop one, then it's okay. Everybody can put out their records now. Go.
Yeah. Indeed.
Because we all need new music all the time.
We do.
Right?
Totally. Oh, I have to have it.
Yeah, I mean, because I just get sick of stuff. I just play stuff so all the time. I want new. So,
right.
But so what's you mentioned that there's a couple of safety shows out there. What are you looking at for the future of playing live? I mean, I know a lot of artists have called off for the whole year.
Yeah.
Other ones not so much. What's your plan?
I don't know yet. I'm kind of playing it by ear. I did a solo gig over at Mashcraft a couple of weeks ago, just because, and it had to do with that they've been so good to me for so long, and got a relationship with them, and I know they were, being careful and everything. But I'm pretty cautious. I'm probably more on the cautious side of doing gigs. I mean, I'm interested in some of the spots that are doing the outdoor kind of shows. So I think I'm, and I get the new record coming out at the end of September. I would love to be able to at least play some shows for it. But I've been doing a Saturday night streaming show most Saturdays on my Facebook page. And that's been, getting a pretty good audience, and that's been fun to just at least be playing music and where people are kind of interacting. So I'd say I'm still up in the air. If I get approached about shows, I consider each one, but I usually will ask, like, so what are your safety measures and that kind of stuff. So.
What's your plan for next March? Because
No.
that's the question. I'd like to have you come play a show. Well, you got something open next March?
Yeah, no kidding. Yes.
Yeah.
Next March is gonna rule.
Next March, next April. What you got? Yeah. Maybe after a little bit of this blows over, we get through another winter. The outdoor shows is what I'm thinking. That's great right now, but it's in January. Those outdoor shows are going to be brutal. Like,
right.
Unless you're playing them, somewhere way more south than here, than Indiana,
Yeah.
But hey, man, it was great having you stop by. I'm gonna send us off at the end of the show here with My Quarantina. I think it's the perfect track to roll out to.
Cool.
And on today's show, I appreciate you stopping by Moonshine and Music, man.
Thanks, Joe. Great to see you and talk to you again.
Moonshine and Music is a presentation of Notlehs Entertainment. Copyright 2020, all rights reserved. The producer for today's show was Joe Shelton. Our cameraman, grip, and stunt double was Brent Lee Smith. On cameras and all sorts of other things, Bailey Shelton. And our staff guru is Brent SCHLEMMER. Join us each Sunday for new episodes right here with Moonshine and Music.